Okay, this is the new chapter. This is chapter number 22 on heights and distances. This chapter is related to the previous chapter that we did, that's on trigonometric identities. So everything that you're going to do is with respect to trigonometric ratios. Okay. Now, imagine this figure. There is a tree which is standing. If there is a tree which is standing, it can't be standing in air. Okay. So I've drawn the tree, this is the tree, and this is the ground level. Okay. You have to imagine that this tree and the ground are perpendicular to each other. Thereby you get a right angle triangle. Okay. So for now you have only the tree and the ground. And imagine that you are standing at this point. You are actually standing means if you are standing then your eye cannot be here. Therefore you are actually lying down. Okay. So your eye is actually on level ground. And if this is your eye, the normal line of sight of your eye is this line. So this is your normal line of sight. So this line becomes the normal line of sight of your eye. Now you're going to look at the top of the tree. This is the top of the tree. So your eye normally looks in this direction. This is the normal line of sight. Now your eye has to shift and look at the top of the tree. Okay. So your eye is going to look up. So this is the new line of sight that you get. So this is your new line of sight. In this case, this was the normal. This is the new line of sight. You're going to look at the top of the tree. Thereby, between this normal line of sight, this line, and the new line of sight, there is a certain angle which is made. This is the angle made between the normal line of sight and the new line of sight of your eye. This angle is called angle of elevation. Elevate means to raise. Okay. So your eye is looking up, therefore the angle that is got is called angle of elevation. Okay. So now imagine a second thing that I'm going to say. This is your eye is here. So this was the normal line of sight. This is the new line of sight. You're looking at the top of the tree. Therefore the angle formed is called angle of elevation. Now imagine this. You walk from this distance and go to the tree and climb the top of the tree. So you've reached the top of the tree, which means your eye is here now. You're no more here. You've climbed the tree and you've reached the top of the tree. So your eye is here. So if this is your eye, the normal line of sight of your eye is this line. That's the normal line of sight. Okay. So that is your normal line of sight. Now imagine, wherever you were originally, you are no more here. You are right now on top of the tree. Imagine, wherever you were previously, there is a car which is parked. Okay. So at this point, there is a car which is parked. So your eye is here. So your normal line of sight is this line. And now, your eye is going to look at the car which is parked on the ground. So your eye is going to look down. So this becomes the new line of sight. You are going to look at the car. This is your normal line of sight. This is the new line of sight. Between the normal line of sight and the new line of sight, again there is an angle which is formed. This is the angle between the normal and the new line of sight. In this case, this was the normal line of sight. This was the new line of sight. Your eye actually looked up to see the top of the tree. Therefore, the angle that was got is called angle of elevation because you looked at the top. Okay. But in this case, your eye is here, this is the normal line of sight and this is the new line of sight, which means your eye is actually looking down. Okay. So when you look down, the angle that you get, this angle, is called angle of depression. When you look up, the angle that you get is called angle of elevation. And when you look down, the angle that you get is called angle of depression. Okay. Now, if you look at this complete figure, if you look at this line and this line, you will see that these two lines are parallel to each other. If these two lines are parallel, this becomes the transversal. Therefore, these two angles are called alternate interior angles or interior alternate angles. They should be equal, which means the angle of depression that you got in this figure and the angle of elevation is the same. So if you got this angle as say 30 degrees, this also will be 30 degrees. That is in this figure. Okay. Everywhere it may not be same. In this figure, these two angles are same. That is angle of elevation and angle of depression. Okay. Both these angles, values will be same. Okay. So, some cases in the question it will be given that the angle of depression is so much. Instead of marking that as the angle of depression, you can mark that as the angle of elevation because both these values are same. Okay. So, I hope this is clear. Then, we'll start out with the exercise. This is exercise 22, question number 1. This is the question. A vertical pole is 90 meter high and the length of its shadow is 90 root 3 meter. What is the angle of elevation of the sun? Imagine me standing like this, okay, and the sun is here. Sun is on my right side. Okay. So automatically the shadow of mine will be on the ground towards my left because the sun is here. The shadow is going to be on the left side. Okay. So here it says there is a vertical pole. Okay. So I have drawn the vertical pole. AB is the vertical pole. If it is a pole, it should be resting on the ground. So this is the ground level. Okay. So a vertical pole is 90 meter high. So AB is the pole, its height is 90 meter. And the length of its shadow, so imagine that the sun is here on the right side of the pole. I am the pole, on the right side of the pole is the sun. Okay. The shadow of the pole will be on the left side. Okay. So it will be on this side. So this is the pole. Therefore, the shadow of this is this one. Okay. That is B to C is the shadow of this pole. It says the length of its shadow is 90 root 3 meter. This is the shadow, that is BC. Its length is 90 root 3 meter. Okay. Height is 90 meter and here the base length is 90 root 3 meter. The question is, what is the angle of elevation of the sun? Okay. So imagine that if you are here, your eye is here. If this is your eye, this is the normal line of sight, and if you're going to look at the sun, your eye is going to look at this direction, this one, so that you can see the sun, right? So the angle of elevation of the sun is this is the angle. This is the angle of elevation, which I have marked as theta. So theta is the value that you are going to find. Okay. So for all these questions, the diagram is important. You will draw the figure correct first, and then with the continue with the calculation. Okay. So we got a right angle triangle here, and in this right angle triangle, two sides are known. This side is called the perpendicular and this side is called the base. You can see this is the angle. The angle is resting on this side, therefore this is the base, and the other side is the perpendicular. We don't know the hypotenuse, so we are not going to involve the hypotenuse. So you will have to think of a trigonometric ratio which connects these two sides, perpendicular and base. And the one trigonometric ratio that connects both these sides is tan. Okay. Tan is perpendicular by base. Okay. So the angle here is theta. So our calculation starts now. Tan theta, why I am using tan is because I know perpendicular and base. Okay. So tan theta is equal to perpendicular by base. So tan theta is equal to perpendicular, here is this one, that is AB, I have written AB, by base is BC divided by BC. Okay. Now put these values. So next step is tan theta, this remains the same, tan theta is equal to AB's length is 90. So that's 90 divided by BC's length is 90 root 3. So divided by 90 root 3. The 90 will get cancelled. So tan theta is 1 by root 3. If you remember the standard angle table which I showed you in the previous chapter, 1 by root 3 is tan of 30 degrees. So tan theta is equal to, instead of 1 by root 3, I have written tan 30 degrees. Therefore, theta will be equal to 30 degrees. Okay. That's the angle, this angle. This is called the angle of elevation of the sun. Therefore, the angle of elevation of the sun is 30 degrees. Okay. No homework for today.